joined by Joaquin Castillo from Acciona. Joaquin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us. Good morning.
Let's start with a look at some of the work that Acciona does.
Well, we are primarily are renewable energy investors. So actually we are 100% renewable utility. So we own and operate renewable assets like solar, wind, CSP projects across the globe.
A lot of the conversations we've had today have been around investment and investment in the energy sector on the African continent. How do you think investors are coming to the party with regards to investing in Africa?
I think there are a lot of expectations about making investments because there are a lot of opportunities, and at the same time we are all struggling because things are probably not moving as fast as we would like to. Right? There are certain barriers that we all together have to overcome to make those investments a reality.
In terms of wanting to invest on the continent, what are some of the challenges or barriers that you faced in wanting to come into the African countries and investing there?
I would say there are mainly three barriers or three main issues that we face. One is bankability of utilities that you are dealing with in some countries. And that's because the energy sectors haven't gone through a reform of the structure of the cost and in incomes that these sectors have. Then that's linked to bankability. So we're talking to a lot of financing institutions, trying to find the right set of project structure to make it bankable. And probably the third barrier to me is regulation. So we need to continue improving regulation to open investments for the private sector, and also for private companies be able to supply their energy directly from IPPs and not from government entities.
In terms of the specific forum, it's essentially a meeting of minds. What are you hoping will be the outcome at the end of AEF 2018?
Well, hopefully we will see here positive reaction from regulators and governments towards improving this regulation and opening up to more investment in the private sector. I think that that's going to be the trigger of getting more people, more investment, more financing. So this is like a positive reaction, and of course this is like a one-stop shop. So it's very convenient. You meet a lot of financing for us, meeting developers, financing institutions, technology providers, etc.
I'm actually glad you mentioned technology providers. Are you finding that Africa is open to innovation and using technology with regards to the energy and power sectors?
I would say yes. I think that what we are seeing is that globally these new trends are introduced very rapidly, and to some extent in Africa we are benefiting from that global innovation that it's being adopted also as the new standard, right? So I think that we haven't seen any restriction or any problem in entering with the latest technology into a market, and that's obviously a very good sign.
And just finally, let's look at these public-private partnerships. We had a discussion with government earlier on, and a government representative was saying with regards to those relationships, it can be a little bit rocky because private sector has its own goals that they want to reach, and government has its own needs as well, and serving citizens and people in their countries. Yeah. How do we balance that out?
Well, it's always that's a tricky question, because it's always difficult to make both parties happy with their own interests, right? And we have seen those working, and actually we're working with those partnerships in other places. But it requires a lot of effort from both sides to come to a point where the project or the investment is what matters. There are other alternatives like these programs with support from like the World Bank supported scaling solar programs, where at the end you have the public sector, but it's driven by private initiatives, which is, I think, is probably the best combination.
We'll have to leave it there, Joaquin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.